Hello and welcome to another furry visual novel quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix. This one of Demons Within, a game about, looking at the synopsis, a soldier of the renowned Dawnbreak Order, the world's frontier against demons and those who worship them. Finds himself with something inside him. Ooh. That something is you. As a weakened demon of lust, Uwu, you are bound to the soldier and must accompany him through both joy and hardship while using your powers to help influence him and those around him. So is it basically just lust shards but from the opposite spectrum? Where you're not the character but you're the demon this time? Uwu. Let's see. It's furry, gay, stuff like that. Hyena. Anyways, before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that are making this game, or get the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, which is $3 a month. And if you have any other visual novels you'd want to suggest, tell me, and I'll add it to the list. And if you want me to play this game, tell me, and I'll give it a point, which will put it up high low on the list. Ooh. Is there anything else I need to say before starting? I think that's it, so reset my face. And Stuart. There's nothing. It's all just emptiness. Nothing. You've been here for an indescribable amount of time. That makes you wonder, does time even exist here? It's been so long that you can barely remember anything else that wasn't this. If you think hard, there were flickers of something else, of memories, just enough to know that there was something before this place, before this nothing. What was it, though? You can't tell. The void has no end. Even if you wanted to try and do something about it, which at some point you think you might have, you can't. You are too weak now. Just a little spark of something. Small, weak, forgotten here for an eternity now. All you can do is remain here, barely aware, barely sentient, in the empty darkness. Time has no meaning. An indeterminable amount of time passes. And then, something happens. Far in the distance, there's a light. It's faint, and it feels so very far away. From it, you can sense things you haven't sensed in so long. It sparks memories of it, but they are so far and faded for you to properly recall them. Your natural self, however, still instinctively reacts to it. There are beings there, mortals, many little specks of distant brightness within the light itself. Yet, one of them shines brighter than the others. One of them holds more of yourself. You can almost see. We have the place surrounded, the captain announces, keeping his voice low. He then leans over the wide windows of the abandoned building they are in and makes hand signals to tell the next hidden unit they are in position. The wolf takes a deep breath. Nervous? The whisper comes from the side. The tiger smirks down at him. We're gonna get him, Russ. We're gonna get him good. He clenches his hand to his fist. The wolf can see him trembling with excitement. It helps make him feel more motivated. So he does. Yeah. They'll never see it coming. The plan is perfect. The wolf's tail wags in response, and he grins. He brings his fist up to bump it against the tiger's, who does so with gusto. Quiet, you two. The orders were to remain silent and hidden until the ambush signal. The coyote gives up both glare. The wolf and tiger look back at each other and chuckle, but they pipe down. Come on, Sam. They're all the way across the street. They won't hear some light whispering. The bear gives the coyote his back a pat. It looks like it's supposed to be a light one, but the size difference between the two is considerable enough to make the coyote almost stumble forward. In response, he lets out a low growl towards the bear. You two know that they have demons on their side. Never understand their capacity is part of the basics, remember? Underestimating, not understanding. The coyote scoffs. The basic manual says, expect anything. All four soldiers nod. They understand the gravity of the situation. The captain ducks by the window's side, remaining hidden and looking at them. They all perform a quiet salute to indicate they're ready to what, to which the captain nods back. They wait for the signal. The light is right there, and yet you can't move towards it. You're too weak to do anything but just be. However, even as you remain still, you can feel it. The light pulls you. Little by little at first, you see it growing brighter. It approaches. You realize you can see shapes within it. On the one side, many moving shapes. The light of mortals has expanded. There are more of them now, and they move erratically. As you speed up further towards the light, you see more and more of them, all of them moving, scrambling. Yet the light centers into one, the brighter one, the one whose shape is clear, the one that resembles you the most. Not on the outside, but rather in his making, in the state of his soul. All of the others look so different, so misshapen. This one as well, but just a little less than the others. You are drawn to him. The closer you get to the light, to him, the clearer your growing connection to him is. If you focus, you can see through him. Take the left flank, the captain shouts, and they all take position. Wolf's throat rumbles with a growling. He shows his teeth, his ears splayed, and his tail standing at attention. These natural reactions of aggressiveness feel right as he locks eyes with the enemy. Still, though, he can feel his muzzle salivating with the primal urge to lunge and bite. He doesn't. The wolf stays in formation, side by side with his unit. His allies, his friends. He holds his sword in position in front of him while staying behind the bear's large shield in defensive formation. I'm gonna just up the audio a tad. They have the enemy surrounded. The place is dark and cramped. The basement of a large, abandoned building, emptied and rebuilt by savages for their foul purposes. Drawings and symbols spread across the floors and walls, all made with blood. The torches lit all around illuminate the dark basement. It reflects against the metal shields and weapons of many units, facing dozens of savages ambushed inside. Behind the wolf, he can feel the tiger itching to advance as well. By the bear's opposite side, the captain dictates the pace at which they advance together. The coyote behind him looks more controlled, but just as focused. The enemy in front of them growls back. They are surrounded, and they know it. The ambush was a success. Some of them roar and advance towards the Order's units, while others, though looking just as aggressive, stay behind to protect more harmless-looking ones. Steady, the captain shouts. The yelling starts. As the other units exchange, the first ones to advance. Engage the first ones to advance. I can read. The sound of weapons clashing rings inside the wolf's ears. He keeps an eye on the closest enemies, but they seem cautious. It is unlikely of Red Eyes to ever be restrained. He meets the eyes of another wolf, a black one. He is unnaturally large. His eyes an unnatural shade of red, in contrast to his black, exposed pelt. For he wears little more than a brown loincloth, yet the large axe he grips looks as sharp as his teeth. And then his eyes start glowing redder. His growling takes more guttural tone, and his gaze turns into one of pure, unbridled fury. They shout things among themselves as well, but the sound of the charges starts drowning out all the coherent sounds from the room. A horn sounds from behind them, once only, the signal to advance. Then it sounds twice more. No escape, no prisoners. Some of the Red Eyes in the back are trying to retreat, covered by their warriors. The faint outlines of tunnels dug beneath the earth can be seen, leading who knows where. On the front, warriors like the Black Wolf fight head-on against each unit. Right in front of his eyes, the Black Wolf growls, his drool falling from his gaping maw. His fur seems to grow thicker. His form twists and turns, growing larger in every way, while he huffs, also larger in every way. Ooh. His growling sounds more and more beast-like. His teeth grow larger and sharper, like an array of daggers within his drooling maw. And when he looks at them, his eyes are now entirely red. He's no longer just a wolf. He's a demon. The sight rattles the lupine soldier, and he can tell the others are just as surprised. He's never seen one of the transformation like this from up close. The captain, however, has. He does not seem fazed, and it is his confidence that the wolf draws his own. Confidence and anger. How dare these Red Eyes come to sully their land? Without even realizing, he finds himself growling at the large wolf with his teeth bared. The Black Wolf raises his axe. It no longer looks as big as he grips it, with large paws. The ferocious beast is about to charge them. We strike together. Spread. Pincer. Take him down. The captain's orders come alongside the same orders from the captain of the unit from their other side. Together, all 10 soldiers advance upon the demonic beast in front of them. The chaos around them grows. You're getting closer. The light glows blinding. Mortals within it scramble back and forth. So many of them. Even if you want to stop it, you can't. The light pulls you, faster and faster, taking you. Then, in a split second, the light engulfs you. The nothingness is gone, and then, just as quickly, you feel yourself opening your eyes. Zoom. Somebody got the After Effects, so they have to use all these star wipes. Eyes. Except, they're not really yours. Okay, might be a bit too loud. Want to have it just kissing that yellow. Something. Doesn't sound weird. Anyways, except they're not really your eyes. They're someone else's. You can see through them. But alongside sight, something you haven't experienced in a long time, comes everything else as well. Sound. A loud, deafening cacophony of sound surrounds you. Loud clangs, grunts, growls, and they are fighting all around you. Taste. The empty, neutral taste of saliva feels intense to you. Touch, feeling, breathing, pain, all in one body. You can feel it all. It's overwhelming, extremely so. It's been so long. You felt the gasp he gives, and through his eyes, you see shapes. Other mortals. Some are clad in clothing and metal. Others, in little more than their fur. They fight one another. At the corner of his eyes, you and he meet the eyes of another. The old wolf, wearing a necklace made of bones, stares at him from a distance before turning to flee. The wolf is protected by several others that surround him, holding weapons. Around him, others move, back and forth. A voice calls, but not you nor he can answer. He gasps again, dropping the weapon with a loud clang. He clenches his chest, and, when he does, you can feel the touch of his hand upon it alongside him. Barely so, as his protective garments soften the touch. But it's there, after so long. Wait. What's happening? Is he having a heart attack? It's there, but it's too much. It overwhelms him and you together, and both can feel it just as sharply. Oh, when he says him, it's probably the character he just possessed. His eyes close. He can feel himself falling over as his consciousness fades away. And he passes out. Blackness returns. No more sight, no more sounds, like before, but at the same time, so very, very different. Even as his senses are gone, you can still feel him, his body, his heart, his life. He is alive, and therefore, you are alive again. I wonder what this hand means. Otto. Okay. He grunts, little by little. Feeling returns to the wolf's limbs. He moves his hands, then his shoulders. There's a stiff soreness, but it feels good to move. It's hard to make sense of things, though. Rest? The voice sounds distant, but it's enough to make his pointy ears twitch. His nose sniffs the air, out of reflex as well. Familiar sense. Sense that spur memories of some comfort. It helps him relax a little better. Rest? Then comes touch. A hand against his chest helps spur him further awake. It grabs his wrist, a thumb pressing against it to feel his pulse. That too feels familiar. With effort, he opens his eyes, but he regains it almost immediately with another grunt. It's as if he hasn't opened them in ages. Yeah, bright. The light bothers them. So he's forced to wince and close them again for a moment. Resnick, come on. The voice solidifies. It sounds close to his ears, and his ears can place it. His thoughts rearrange themselves, and, with them, memory, lucidity. He groans again, and moves his paw up to rub his eyes, so that he can properly open them. When he opens his maw, he realizes his throat feels dry. Speaking is hard. He manages to open his eyes, and slowly but surely they focus. Well, never mind. I was gonna say this art kind of reminds me of Winds of Change, but maybe it's because it's like, hey, it's medieval, but it's like, actually, I think Winds of Change was a bit more, whippy, work in progressy. It wasn't as detailed, if I remember. No, maybe not. I don't know. Like, there was rough sketches. Not really rough sketches, but you know what I mean. Rest. You're awake. You're really awake. Stay with me. Make an effort. He can see a brown bear. A very familiar bear. Accessing memories. Surround him. A familiar place. Yes. His memory returns, spurred by the sight, and he remembers Ludwig. He opens a wide smile and stares at the waking wolf expectantly. Tutorial. When Resnick sees or talks about something that has him thinking about it for a moment, His memories on the subject are triggered. As someone with access to his mind, he can access these memories to learn more about his life so far and what he knows or thinks. To do so, click on the words with different color amidst the text. That will allow you to learn more about him, his life before you, his thoughts, or the world around him. On top of that, accessing the memory for the first time will permanently unlock it in the Memorandum Gallery to peruse later. Click. Hello, Brown Bear. As signed, also it looks very, I was thinking of this thing right here. It's like, are we in Demon Hero Academia? Graduate Order. Sorry, Ludwig. Sorry. It's one of those reading yawns. Concern was a kind and gentle person. Because of this, his role as a science physician was not surprising. You learn that despite his kind nature, it can be fierce and wants to be, especially when it comes to forcing someone to accept medicine. It's very usual for the regimen takes more defensive role in combat, and steadfast presence makes Resnick feels proud and like on a team, likes long naps and a lot of spice in a stew. I do like lots of spice in me stew. He said face. Trying to speak makes his throat hurt more. The bear, however, looks ecstatic, so much so that he leans in to give Wolf a hug. All the lion wolf does is groan in response. The bear is gentle and careful with his embrace, not actually putting any pressure anywhere, but the act is filled with such overwhelming joy that the wolf understands the message pretty clearly. Oh, buddy, I was so worried. I'm so happy you're awake. The others will be thrilled. How are you feeling, Resnick? As he asks that, the bear paws come upon the wolf. He pulls Resnick's eyes open wider to look at it, nods, then forcibly opens the wolf's maw to look inside as well. At that point, the wolf feels his strength slowly returning, enough to chuckle and push the bear away. I'm alright. The wolf pretty much gasps through his dry throat. Thirsty. Oh, but of course, the bear's eyes go wide. At the nightstand next to the bed, the wolf finds himself lying on. There is already a jar that Ludwig fills a cup with. The bear then brings it to the wolf's lips with care. Resnick shakes his head. He gently pushes the cup away, and then with a grunt, he moves to sit up on the bed. His body feels sore all over, as if he's been sleeping in a bad position all night long. You shouldn't move, Ress, Ludwig quickly says. He puts the cup down with haste in order to help him, but the wolf manages to sit up on his own. It feels good to move. Resnick can feel his strength returning little by little. The bear, however, looks concerned. Once Resnick manages to sit up properly, he's given the cup, which the wolf downs with eagerness. It's a simple wine, but in its aftertaste, you can detect the hint of herbs that Ludwig usually adds to it. I don't know, usually when I'm thirsty, I don't go for a bottle of wine. Like, if you're, like, quote, thirsty, like, you know, that there would be in commercials, like, after a long day, it's nice to quench your thirst with alcohol, like beer. It's like, sus. But wine, I don't know. It could be one of those, hey, it's medieval times, so wine back then was, like, not as strong, and you actually kind of drank it to, you know, how you do it. Though, now that I think about it, what would they drink? I don't know, it'd be, sometimes it's like, they used to drink beer and wine and stuff like that. It would be watered down a whole bunch, but still, it's how it keeps the bugs away. That being, like, thickness. The wolf is usually not a fan of such additions, but thirsty as he was, it feels great nonetheless. Much, much better, Resnick says, his voice sounding clearer. Ludwig takes the cup from him and sets it down. The bear then pulls a stool next to the bed, so he can sit down as well. Are you sure you're feeling alright? No particularly harsh pain anywhere? Ludwig asks. Resnick notices that his wide smile is turned into an expression of concern. No, I don't think so. No longer feeling the merciless ache of thirst, Dole finally has a moment to take in their surroundings. A very familiar one as well. The infirmary of their unit's watch house. Click. Do. An infirmary is where people go when they're sick or injured. Huh. Would thicker windows like thicker glass actually be useful? I mean, if you double paned it or triple paned or something like that, then yeah. Wait, I think sorry, I have to... Was it quadruple paned? Or triple paned windows? Is that where they have like 3 windows, or is it like, or 3 bits of glass? Okay, yeah, it's 3 bits of glass. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? To have houses where, like, there's 3 bits of, like, stuff, so that, you know, you wouldn't lose a ton of heat during the winter, or since we live in Texas, a ton of air conditioning. So I know we just kind of started, but we need to check the time. And my face. Resnick himself has spent a good dozen nights here, whether out of combat training wounds that he had to be treated, sickness, or whatever else. Not to mention the countless times he has come to visit one of his fellow companions that ended up here for the same reason. Those memories come rushing back, although in bits and pieces. They come back with a certain level of worry too, though. Worry, in confusion. Why is he here? Resnick quickly looks down at himself. Wolf realizes he's shirtless. No, not only that. Beside, from his wide sheet covering his lower half, he's wearing nothing but a short pair of underwear. He grips the covers and pulls them up to make sure they cover him up a little. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with his body, though. His gray fur looks a little shaggy, but otherwise perfectly fine. No bandages or wounds. It's himself. You know he's a cool dude because he has a bit of straw in his mouth. Man, a happy, content, proud wolf? Man, I want to be him. Bacon. I mean, yeah. I love just chewing on shit. I guess it's just kind of a thing where it's like, it helps keep the anxiety down a little bit. He looks at the bear. What happened? I don't remember. Resnick's paw comes up to scratch his head. Was it training? As he thinks back, though, his foggy memories start to take in shape as well. Resnick grunts. The moment he does, Ludwig leans in right away with concern. Are you alright? What are you feeling? Don't strain yourself. You should lie back down. The bear's large paws come to help him down, but the wolf shakes his head and pushes them away. I'm fine. I'm not in pain. I was just trying to remember. We weren't here. The memories start returning to him, and, as they do, the wolf's frown deepens, traveling to the outskirts. Then, the operation itself. Lots of units. So many soldiers. The raid against the Red Eyes. What happened? How? The bear's gaze shifts to the side. His round ears twitch in an expression of concern? Not quite. but the wolf can't exactly tell. Can't exactly tell what it is. There's something he's not saying. Tell me, Ludwig, what happened? Did the Red Eyes win? Did the order get pushed back? Did we... No. The bear raised his arm, shaking his head. None of that, thankfully. We won, of course. Look, Res, that's no big deal. The operation went fine. I'm sure the captain can give you a proper brief later. That's not what's important here. The wolf's ears twitch, with eager curiosity. Then what happened? How did I end up all the way back here at the infirmary? Ludwig looks a little embarrassed. Or disappointed? Frustrated? Worried? It doesn't look good, which in turn makes the worry of the wolf feels grow. Well, that's kind of the thing. I was hoping you could tell me. Resnick blinks. What do you mean? How should I know? I barely remember what happened. Ludwig grabs his paw. He holds it between both of his. The bear's larger paws always felt remarkably soft, even for a soldier. Resnick looks down at it, but his eyes quickly go back to focusing on the bear. How much do you remember? Try to tell me everything. The wolf thinks about it. For some reason, digging into those memories feels harder. It's as if they were somewhat buried. Little by little, he tries to reconstruct the events in his mind, but it's hard to do so. I remember fighting. We were raiding the Red Eyes' hidden base within Old Helgink. I remember lots of smells and sounds, and the fight starting, but then nothing. Resnick grits his teeth, trying harder to remember more. Just so, Ludwig says. You collapsed, Res. The wolf's ears fall back against his head. I collapsed? Ludwig nods. Soon after the battle started, we were in the formation, caught the Red Eyes in our ambush. We outnumbered them, and everything was going as planned. And then you fell. We thought you'd been wounded. You were unresponsive, so I grabbed you, and the others covered me, and retreated while the other units pushed forward. Except, Res, when I looked for your wounds back at the field, I found none. The bear smiles. I was relieved. You didn't even know how much. Still, thankfully, everything went well. You, though. You didn't wake up. I kept you at the field infirmary tent for a while. Then we returned here, and I brought you with us. I examined you with every tool I had, but... Wait a second. Resnick pipes up, his ears twitching. He grips the bear's paws with his own. The Red Eyes base was in Helgink. That's at least a few days travel away. You're telling me I've been asleep for over a day? Ludwig looks at him. Then he looks away. Res. Ludwig scratches his head. You've been asleep for a little over 2 weeks. The wolf's eyes widen as he rushes forward in a sitting position. 2 weeks? Also, that's the thing. I wonder how they would do feeding and stuff in this universe. Though, man, I would feel really embarrassed with, having to be fed water and food, and then also have somebody wipe my ass. Or make sure I peed. Pipe down, you still have to rest. Ludwig's large paw comes to the wolf's chest to push him back against the bed's headboard. It doesn't relent until Resnick starts relaxing and leaning back against it. But 2 weeks? Ludwig, how? Settle down, Res, please. You mustn't overexert yourself. The important thing is that you're awake and feeling well. Resigning himself, the wolf lets himself relax and sighs. But seriously, though, what happened? How could I have collapsed and been out for 2 weeks, or whole weeks? I've never heard of that happening before. Fair point. I haven't heard of it either. At least, not without some kind of severe blunt blow to the head or something, which I have ascertained a dozen times that he did not take. The bear sighs, but then opens a momentary smirk. Momentary smirk? Monumentary? Anyways, but Resnick, Ludwig says, his expression quickly darkening. I am also sorry about, well, there was nothing I could do about your muzzle. The bear takes hold of a small hand mirror that sat by the nightstand as well, pulling it close to himself. What? My muzzle? What do you mean? In a rush, the wolf reaches out and takes the mirror out of the bear's hands. Holding it in front of his face, he takes a deep breath before he turns it around. In it, he sees his reflection. His young self, gray fur, pointy ears, long wolfish muzzle, blue eyes. In a rush, Resnick turns the mirror to one side or the other, looking for anything wrong with his face, but finds nothing. You're still ugly. It's only then he hears a snicker coming from his side that he stops. Ludwig, what the heck? Wolf gives the bear a playful growl. He makes an angry face, but his tail wags almost against the bed as he chuckles alongside the bear, the laughing bear, at the lame joke. There's relief in him too. Sorry, I couldn't resist the joke. Edwin falls for it every time. No, you're fine. Are you sure you don't feel any pain? Stomach? Head? Anything? Ludwig holds his usual smile. The wolf can see a hint of genuine concern in them, as well as bolstered by the way the bear's paw comes to rest on his leg. Nope, nothing. I feel great. The wolf answers, putting the mirror away. It takes a moment to assess the situation, but there's no pain, like waking up from a nice, long, refreshing nap. I do feel like something is lacking, though. The wolf looks around, then at the bear. I need something to bite on. You got something to chew? At that, the bear rides back to smiling. You and your chewing rest. Yeah, I got you covered. I brought some here from the kitchen, hoping you'd wake up. Standing up, the bear moves to the cupboard, and then he returns when he returns, the wolf eyes glow. He licks his lips. Give it here. Grabbing it from the bear's hand, the wolf takes the light and bringing that wheat straw up to his muzzle. The first crunchy bite into the stem has him humming with delight, and the light chewing that comes after feels even better. That's the stuff. You never get sick of those? I tried chewing on one while you slept, but I just couldn't get into it. Ludwig comments, sitting back by his side. The wolf, however, just smirks. Nope, they're the best. Chew through a few of them, and you'll never put them down. But what about all that wheat? I guess, if everybody started chewing on wheat stems, it would be kind of, not great. Though, I don't know. How much would you go through in a day? Be one of those people who smacks a pack a day or something like that? Though, I wondered, would you get it before or after harvesting them? I guess maybe before. Since, I don't know. The bear chuckles. Sure. I'm very glad you're doing well. Enough to already want to do it again. When I'm looking away from the wolf, I feel like he's naked, but he's not naked. The wolf smiles, but stops to think. I do feel a little fuzzy, though, with my memories and whatnot. The bear's smile widens. He stands up and moves the table off to the side that has most of his tools. We'll take a look at that. I know your head better than anyone in the world. I guarantee that. Resnick lets out a chuckle while Ludwig downright laughs out loud at his own joke. Then the bear comes back with his medical toolkit and places it on the nightstand. The amount of sharp, weird metal tools inside it brings a bit of worry to the wolf. The test will be much easier with you awake. I'll run some of the basics with you now. Now and then, I'll inform the captain and the others. Lay down your back properly, if you would. The wolf nods and slides down on the bed to lay on it. What else can he do? It's his head, though. The idea of being asleep for 2 whole weeks doesn't sit right. A linger of worry remains there. Still, as Resnick finds himself lost in thought, the bear, pulling his covers down, brings a different, more immediate worry to the forefront of his thoughts. Before Ludwig can probably pull them down, the wolf grasps his sheets and pulls them back up to his waist. Ludwig, can I at least have something to wear now that I'm awake? The brown bear blinks, then lets out a big laugh. Of course. Sorry, Wes. I didn't need anything other than the bare minimum. Your clothes should be in your room, though. I'll fetch some for you later, if you like. But you'll need to be shirtless for the exams anyway, so... Alright. The wolf waves his paw towards the bear and sighs. I bet, with a smile. Let's get this done, yeah? I'm kind of... Can I look at who did the art of this game? Because looking at the background, it's very much like... do they have... I guess... it's... Gonna check the other backgrounds. I don't know, it just reminds me very much of Winds of Change backgrounds, like this spot specifically. Ludwig proceeds to submit to the wolf through all kinds of exams. From plain old careful listening of the wolf's heartbeat to all the way weirder exams Resnick has never been through, such as the bear's fingers carefully wandering over his head and pressing onto different spots. The whole time, the question that keeps repeating itself is, does this hurt? But thankfully, the answer is always no. After the exams, Wolf convinces the bear to take the time to go fetch him some of his regular clothes as well. If he's going to be awake, he might as well be properly dressed. By the time he's dressed, and the bear is finally done with all of his exams, the wolf lets himself fall back against the bed. Ludwig puts away his tools with a smile on his face. Well, you want the good news or the bad news? Resnick's ears perk up and twitch. He smirks, him with the good ones first. The good news is that I managed to rule out pretty much any other possible dire reasons for your prolonged lack of consciousness. No abnormal or concerning issues whatsoever. The bear returns his smile. He looks genuinely happy to announce that. Oh then, that's great. I do feel fine, Ludwig. I really do. Better than ever somehow. The wolf's tail wags against the bed. Throwing his covers to the side, he moves to the side of the bed, stretches his arms, and eager to stand up. Except Ludwig quickly rushes to him. No. You're not getting up just yet. The baron takes him by the shoulders and gently nudges Resnick back to the bed. With a grumble, the wolf lets him, going back to sitting on his back against the headboard with his back. Why? I feel fine. Well, the bad news is that I have no clue about why you collapsed, or why you're out for so long. The bear's expression darkens ever so slightly. That's not normal. We have to keep an eye out. It could happen again. Resnick frowns. But I know. Ludwig interrupts him with a chuckle. You feel fine. That's great. Really. Still, I'm gonna have to ask you to stay here, in bed, and rest. At least for a little while longer, alright? If nothing happens, you'll be out and about soon, but I'm not taking chances. Resnick sighs. Ludwig, always too concerned. Fine. The bear still stares at him, though. Promise? I mean it, Res. No sneaking out. I'm giving you orders here, as your medical caretaker, I do have the authority. The bear smiles. He's technically right. He does have the authority to make that call, but his tone is playful. Still, there's a serious undertone to it. Resnick can see it, even if he chuckles as well. In response, the wolf brings his hand up to a salute. Yes, sir. Good boy. Said good boy. Ludwig teases, in a way he knows annoys the wolf the most. In response, the wolf throws one of the pillows at the bear. Get out of here. They both laugh. The wolf figures he might as well make himself comfortable. Ludwig heads for the window and opens the curtains, revealing the bright sun outside that lights up the room. Resnick realizes he has no idea about what time it is, but the strong sunlight indicates there's plenty of daytime left. I'm going out for a while, alright? I have to report this to the captain. It's almost noon. Ludwig thinks a moment. Edwin is out on patrol today, and Sam is cooking brunch, so you know it'll be good. Should be out soon. I'll break out the good news, eat with him, and bring you something healthy. You hungry? Resnick smirks. I am, actually. The big bear chuckles, and that too. Good. That's really good. I'll make it quick then. After a bunch of unnecessary reassurances that the wolf has everything he needs, Ludwig finally leaves. Once he does, and Resnick is alone in the room, all he can do is lie down on the bed. The wolf brings his arms to prop up his head forward while staring at the ceiling. 2 weeks. How could that happen? Lingering on those thoughts will do him no good. He decides and sighs. The worst part about being stuck in the infirmary is always the boredom. For a while, Resnick hopes he can nap. Crap, the wolf mutters to himself. I don't feel tired at all. Grumbling, he throws the sheets off to the side once more and moves to the side of the bed. And how would I be? If I've really been asleep for 2 freaking weeks, of course the last thing I want to do is sleep more. Noel stretches his arms. Damn, feels good. Then he stands up. I promised Ludwig I wouldn't leave, but that doesn't mean I can't at least move around a little. Resnick smirks. He stands on his feet to test the ground. The muscles on his thighs and calves do feel a little sore. Aside from that, he finds himself feeling pretty damn good. Resnick takes a few steps around, then decides to head towards the window. The wolf leans against its sill, the sunlight bathing his full, and lets out a relaxed sigh. His tail goes as far as wagging behind him. His tail goes as far as wagging behind him. Yeah, I don't know. I get that Ludwig thinks I might be sick or something, but if he knew how good I feel, he wouldn't have any doubts, Resnick mutters to himself. He can't help but smile, leaning there on the window. He feels at peace. How wouldn't he? The infirmary window leads towards the inner courtyard, rather than outside, a place Resnick is fairly well acquainted with. Taking a deep breath, his lupine nose can take in all the familiar and recent scents permeating the air. Boop. Even not being awake, he can tell that his companions had a regular training session that morning. The faint scent of sweat, ooh, is in the air, as the fresh dents of swords on the sturdy training dummies. The sun shines brightly, and the day feels hot enough that Resnick is sure that, had he been out there training with him, he'd be complaining about the heat on his fur to Edwin afterwards. The thought of it makes him chuckle. He realizes he misses the training. However tough it sometimes is. Yet, to him, it doesn't feel that long since they were right there doing exactly that, as they do every day as proud members of the Dawnbreak Order. Ready time. I wonder if this is going to be a thing where it's like, yeah, these red eyes people aren't actually bad people, or something like that. Who knows? Puppies. Keeping in shape is, after all, one of the many ways to honor being part of something that great. Not many can count themselves as lucky enough to be a member of it. Even if he is not, even an order soldier, for that long. In his lifetime, Resnick has seen plenty of what the destruction of Red Eyes can wreak if left unchecked. If I really slip 2 weeks, my muscles will start growing soft. The wolf thinks out loud. He brings his arm up and flicks it to look at his biceps. His tail wags, as it still looks decent. Resnick knows he's far from being the strongest of the order, or even of the unit, but hey, his arm does look pretty good. Chuckling to himself, the wolf turns his attention back to the empty courtyard and lets his mind wander. He's happy to stay there for a while, pondering the thoughts, when all of a sudden the slam of the door makes his ears twitch and his head turn. From across the courtyard, a familiar armored silhouette of a tiger appears, huffing and puffing. Resnick looks at him, and in that moment their eyes meet. The wolf can see the tiger's eyes widen, with a large smile spreading over his muzzle. This is definitely Edwin, but his reactions make Resnick lift an eyebrow. Boop. Ooh, I like meatballs too. Rest! Edwin pretty much shouts from across the courtyard. He rushes over, his uniform looking heavy, and with a sword still strapped across his back, until he reaches the window the wolf was leaning on. Resnick stands up straight, in preparation to greet him. What the wolf didn't expect, however, is how the tiger's arms reach into the window and almost pull him into a tight hug. A familiar smell belonging to the tiger overflows the wolf's nose, especially given the extra layer of sweat that accompanies him. It arouses him. Joking? He has definitely been patrolling. How are we on time? Well, I'm not sure how long this is gonna be, and since we just seen a new character, so we can see how many characters? Let's see, there's a bear, there's a tiger, there's a wolf that's white, and a big bull. Oh, Jesus. I'm looking down at this bulgy and the thing where it's like, it's ripped a bit so you see the top bit of it. I mean, you can see penis there. It's not even being subtle. Good God. But anyways, I guess that's going to be the end of this. Quick look. Because, we're pretty much out of time and I don't know how long this is going to be. But if you want me to do this game as a Let's Play, tell me. and I'll give it a point, which I'll put up higher on the list, which means we'll probably do it sooner than later. Granted, there's like a whole bunch of visual novels to look at. Also, if you have suggestions for any other games, then tell me, and I'll add them to the list of games to quick look. And, you know, if you recommend them, then I'll also give them points, which will mean they'll be doing it sooner. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, I need to not forget about this. Random. Let's see. So yeah, if you want to play this game, it's available for free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that are making this game and get the newest version earlier, go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month. So, random number generator, tell me what I'm doing next. Number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh wait, it would be that one. Yeah. Which is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Sueno. Boop. Loading up this one. Do 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 do. Hyena, a game about tigers and wolves and rabbits. And I might need to turn the audio down just a smidge. Maybe not that much of a smidge. So let's see this game. Sueno is a furry visual novel focusing on the struggles of a group of friends and their fear of what is to come. Follow the journey of a grey wolf as he tries to understand the world around him with his closest friends, which is free on itch.io. They do have a Patreon. Let's see what it would be. Yep, early access is $3 a month. Hyena. And might need to turn it down just a bit more. Getting high on that piano. And until next time, another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, or some other game. That being this one. There you go. Thanks and see you.